Hi, my name is Tiffany Foster. I work and ride for Artisan Farms, and I have 3 horses here. I have Whitney, Victor, and Southwind VDL. Originally, I was born in North Vancouver, British Columbia. I stayed there till I was about 21. Then I moved out to Ontario to work for Eric Lamaze. And now we're based in Belgium in the summer times and Florida in the winter. Well, you want the whole story or no? I got into the position that I'm in right now. I worked at one farm from the time I was 13 till I was 21 years old. Then I met Eric, and I wanted to have a little bit of a change of scenery and try some different things. I'd never ridden a jumper before I met Eric. So when I was 21, that seemed like a good place to start. And so I started working for him when I was 21 years old. And I basically still work for him. And we were just fortunate enough to come across clients like Artisan Farms, which are Andy and Carlene Ziegler. And they're extremely supportive of the sport and of their riders. And so that's how I ended up where I am right now.
Aren't they owners of the year, like in Canada?
Yeah, definitely. They were owners of the year last year. They were awarded at the Royal Winter Fair. And hopefully they'll be owners of the year again. I mean, obviously it's the chance of a lifetime, and they're extremely supportive, but they're also genuinely very nice people, and we have grown very, very close over the years throughout, you know, because I also train Mr. Ziegler. He rides and competes, and he's competing here, did very well. So we really have a very strong bond, and it almost feels more like family than really like a working thing, because we spend a lot of time together, and Caitlin and I are really, really close. It's their daughter, and it's really fun. They're very supportive. You never feel pressure to they really have the horse's concern first, and they really kind of let you do what's best for the horse, so you never feel any pressure from them at all.
And talk about your horses.
My horses. Okay, well, my best horse is probably Victor. He's a 10-year-old gelding that I started riding a couple years ago. He was originally bought for Eric Lamaze to ride, but he was a little bit green and they didn't get along so well, so I got to start riding him, and we get along very well. So I've had a lot of success on him recently in the last year or so. He's really come along really well, and we're going to hopefully continue with that. And then I also have Southwind, who's a 13-year-old gelding who has a little bit more experience than me or any of my horses. And the Zieglers bought him for me really as a horse to be able to jump big classes on and to continue to gain experience. So he's really, really good. He's very scopy and a very kind horse. And then my other horse that I have here is a 9-year-old mare named Whitney, who I think has a very bright future ahead of her. She's here, you know, mainly training and stuff. You're not going to really probably see her in the winning prizes for a little bit because she still has a lot to learn, but she was also one that was bought for Eric and wasn't quite ready to go for him, so then I got to put all the slow groundwork in, and now I get to jump some bigger classes with her, so we'll see how she is.
You're just getting Eric's rejects.
Yeah, exactly, but I'm fine with it. I mean, ultimately, it's the selection committee's choice on the horse and everything, yeah. But they definitely have, you know, they ask your input and what you would, you know, what you would feel more comfortable with. And I definitely would feel more comfortable, I think, on Victor, just because I know him really well and he's awesome, so. Yeah, I mean, I think that we have, in Canada, there's a good pool of experienced, seasoned show jumping riders, you know, that really came up, you know, they're not super young, but they're really, really good. So there's a group of them that's very good. And the problem is in Canada, there's not a ton of ownership money, I think, to go around. So I think if you have somebody who's looking to be an owner in this sport and, you know, compete at the highest levels, you do have in Canada a good group of professionals to choose from, you know, so I think that that's probably part of the reason. I'm lucky enough that I kind of have a special relationship with the Zieglers and they want to give me a chance. But if they were just out looking for the best, they would just have Eric, you know, so I've been able to kind of get better and to do all that because of their support. but it's not necessarily that they went and picked me out of the crowd and said, yeah, we want to buy horses for you. It just sort of worked out that way, and I've worked for them, and so they want to kind of give back to me. And I think that that's probably why you don't see so many young people in Canada, at least in the position that I'm in, just because I think there's not so much money to go around, and where it's going to be spent is with the proven professionals, you know? Yeah, it's hard. They're going to need to have somebody who wants them to do well and to give them a chance, and to not be worried if they're not quite ready to go out and beat all these guys, and somebody who's willing to give them time and give them, like I said, like a chance to do it. I think a couple of things. Well, first of all, you're only as good as your horse. So I have excellent horses, and it's kind of one of those things that you need to sort of build a relationship with them. So you're not going to see, like, you know, you're not going to see a horse like I have, like Whitney now. Nobody's going to know who she is, but hopefully next year they will. You know what I mean? And so I think that that's why you had to spend a bit of time, you know, like I had to spend a bit of time getting my horses organized, getting some routes, figuring out what I was doing. And then I think too, you know, Eric, I just follow whatever Eric tells me to do. So I have the greatest mentor and person to help guide you through your career that anybody could ask for. So I'm just gonna continue doing whatever he tells me to do, and hopefully it will keep working. But I think that that's you know, you have to practice too. You got to just be able to get out there and show a lot. And I have a lot of horses to ride, and I get a lot of practice, and that's really, I mean, that's what you need. You need to just get in the ring and go and go and go, and nobody's going to notice you. And then once you figure out what you're doing, then they will.